Hey, how's it going? And welcome to Whisky Whims with me, Stuart. Today, we're going to be reviewing the new Springbank Local Barley 10-year-old 2021 release. Yeah, so today I thought I'd get in up with the times. Up with the times, is that the right expression? Anyway, and get reviewing this new release. I don't really do new releases. I usually review whiskey just as I see fit when I've actually explored it enough. I've had this just over a week and I've kind of got through it quite a bit, so I think it's a good enough time to explore. Before we start, the audio might be a bit different. I'm recording on a new device and it doesn't have an attachment for my microphone, so that might be a little bit off. I've not shaved because I can't really shave up here with my broken collarbone, and I'm not wearing the sling anymore, as advised by doctors. Anyway, let's get down to this. So this is Springbank's 6th release in the Local Barley series, which usually releases every year. This one has specifically been matured in Oloroso for 10 years. There's 8,500 bottles. It was distilled June 2010, bottled December 2020. The barley source is Glen Craig's farm, and the barley type is Belgravia or Belgravia. 55.6% ABV, and I purchased this for £90, I believe, from Aberdeen Whisky Shop. A great shop that I'll always try and promote at any opportunity, because they really do help me get whiskies, get bottles like this. Not for any specific reason other than that I've kind of always shopped there and always pop in when I've got the opportunity. Do check them out. This isn't paid for or anything like that, but I really do think they deserve the audience and the attraction. So anyway, we'll get down to the whiskey. I'm going to pour a little bit more because it's quite a interesting whiskey and I want to have enough to explore. So this is one of the sweeter Springbanks that I can recall. It's rich, dense. There's demerara sugar, there's raisins, there's prunes, all soaked together in a kind of sherry mixture just prior to being baked or something for a fruitcake. Quite reminiscent of the mixture itself. Not necessarily a baked fruitcake yet, but definitely the mixture. Very sticky, syrupy, yeah, just all mixed together. With our hypothetical fruitcake, there's possibly a side of vanilla ice cream. There's salted caramel, chocolate orange. It's so sweet, this whiskey. Not a lot of Springbank characteristics so far. A lot of the sherry coming through, quite dominant on the sherry. However, with time in the glass, you get a little bit of a kind of festering warehouse dunnage smell that is typical of Springbank. There's no dirtiness, no funkiness, just that kind of dusty warehouse, old warehouse. Maybe, I wouldn't say mouldy, but generally that's what grows in the warehouse, this kind of black mould. It's that kind of dunnage smell that we all know and we've all smelled before when we've done tours. It definitely takes me to the Campbelltown Springbank warehouses. Possibly something herbal at the end of the nose, but overall sweet. Yeah, real sweet. Nothing. What I've explained does sound very sickly, very overindulgent, but it's not. It's all well balanced, all nice. It's not too overthrowing. But yeah, a very sweet, different Springbank. The palate. Sweet again in the palate. Oily, dense, a little bitter, a little bit drying, but just a lot of sherry notes on the palate. Dark chocolate, prunes, raisins, muscovado sugar, molasses, and cloves. But still a little bit of a creaminess there, reminiscent of the nose vanilla ice cream. There is a little bit of a creaminess. There's a definitive sea, salt, briny kind of air or breeze in the palate. This kind of maritime by the sea. If you just walk down the coast of the Campbelltown Loch, it's that kind of smell, the waves coming up across the beach. You've got, yeah, I'm not going to try and over explain it. It's sea salt in the air, a brininess. It's really tasty. So it's in the palate. There's some subtle citrus notes, kind of tangy, zesty. It's either lemon or lime, like gratings. The zest itself, the skin, the peel. It's not necessarily the fruit, the actual fruit, but more the skin grated, just on I don't know, on a chopping board or something, grated on some wood. You've got that tangy, citrusy, almost bitter, not sour or anything like that, but yeah, tangy I think's the word. Possibly, almost encroaching on the finish, you've got a Springbank dirtiness, a little bit of a familiarity. Yeah, I think that's how you say it, with the Springbank character. A little bit of earthiness, a little bit dirty, but it's quite subdued from the sherry, from the strong Oloroso casks. So the finish is long, it's drying, it's hard to get specific flavours, they're quite subtle, possibly because of this drying effect. The whiskey dissipates quite quick, the flavours dissipate quite quick. However, there is a nice wood element, there's a nuttiness, probably like chestnuts or something, roasted chestnuts in the finish. Yeah, some fleeting dried fruits just because of the overall dryness of the finish. It's still long, it's still enjoyable. It's one makes you crave more. It is a little bit. I mean, those flavours could be a little bit juicier, but because of the drying element, they kind of dissipate rather quickly. Still nice, makes you want more. So yeah, how would I conclude this? This is a meaty, a dense, it's a sherry whiskey for sure. Not evidently Springbank, possibly Campbelltown. You could guess at Campbelltown for sure. It would be a bit of a struggle to say definitively that this is a Springbank whiskey without knowing what it was. If I got this blind, I'd probably struggle, and I think that's because of the sherry. I do tend to prefer Springbank, Kilkerran, all them. Maybe not Long Row, but Springbank and Kilkerran done in bourbon. But this is still nice. Like I said, it's dense, it's a lot going on. You can spend a lot of time with it. The nose for me is probably the strongest factor of this whiskey. There's just so much going on. The palate's quite familiar with sherry flavours, so it's almost expected. And the finish is maybe the least attractive quality to this whiskey. That being said, this is a fantastic whiskey. The Springbank 10 that came out last year, I believe, the bourbon one, I'm not sure if that had sherry influence in it, but it was a lot lighter. It was nowhere near the colour of this, and it might have just been bourbon. I probably preferred that. However, this is still fantastic. I cannot deny that. At £90 for a 10-year-old, yeah, it's a lot of money for a 10-year-old. They've got the local barley on there, which gets a premium. It's exclusive, it's limited, blah, blah, blah. They can pretty much charge that and get away with it. Would I say it's worth the £90? I would say there's other sherry whiskies out there that are going to give you as much enjoyment. Looking at maybe the Glendronach 15-year-old, the 18-year-old even at £90, £100 older age. However, this has got a lot going for it. So I'd probably say it's not necessarily worth the price because there are alternatives out there that are just as good. Would I buy it again? I probably would, and I would buy it again at £90 because I am enjoying it, and I do like Springbank. More time with this, more water possibly, might bring the Springbank dirtiness, funkiness out. And would I recommend it? 100%. I would recommend this. If you've got a bottle, please do open it, enjoy it. It's what it's there for. It's going to bring you so much more enjoyment out than just flipping it. I mean, this is already going on auctions for 250, 300. if you need the money, yeah, whatever, but do you really need it? It's so much better just drinking it. It's so enjoyable. Please just open your bottles. And yeah, I would recommend that if you can get a sample of this, if someone's kind enough to send you a sample or something like that, definitely jump at the opportunity because it is a really good whiskey and one to be experienced. So I think that's all I've got to say without rambling on too much more and without being too much of a Springbank fanboy, which you know I pretty much am. I'm going to enjoy the little slither of this rest on my own. I might even post some more off camera and just enjoy it and sit back. So thanks for watching. I hope you're all doing well. I've been Stuart. This has been Whisky Whims. I've been Stuart. Something like that. I can't remember how you say goodbye because I've enjoyed this so much. I've been Stuart. This has been Whisky Whims. I'll see you later.